You're acting so weird.
Alright, so the warm-up process just to find the missing length or height using the Pythagorean theorem. So what would the value of the height of this square pyramid be? You know your triples, it should be really fast.
4. No, wait, no.
8. So cutting the base of 12 in half, that's 6. 6, h, and 10. That's a 6, 8, 10. So h is 8. If not, 6 squared plus h squared equals 10 squared. 100 minus 36 square root of 8. That would be inches. This one we would probably have to do the Pythagorean theorem to find our slant height. And what do we get? Marquise? 2.5 meters. Okay, so whenever we did pyramids and cones for surface area, remember we needed the slant height. Today we're going to need the actual height. So if they give you the slant height, you're going to have to work backwards to find the height, whereas the other day we wanted the slant height. So you just have to pay attention to your formulas. Alright, so to show you, the formulas today are almost identical to yesterday's, except they're going to be a fraction of the volume. They won't be the same, but they'll be a fraction. So let's see if you can figure out what fraction that would be. They're going to show you a visual of like pouring the amount of things from one into another. So we have a rectangular prism filled with, I don't know, material of some sort. Gravel, looks like. So now we have a rectangular pyramid that has the same size base as the prism. They're going to show you together just to show you that the bases are the same. They also have the same height. So we're going to see how many times we have to fill up the pyramid and put it into the prism to see what the fraction of that it is. So he's going to use the pyramid to fill up the prism. How many times do you think it's going to take to fill up? 3. And have other guess? 2.
I'm going to go with 4 just to be different.
Okay. So there's 1.
Yeah, actually, I don't.
There's 2. So it's going to be 3. Hopefully. Alright, so it takes 3. So what that means is that the pyramid is going to be 1/3 of the prism. It takes 3 pyramids to fill it up, so the pyramid would be 1/3. And do you want to watch the cones, or do you just realize it's also going to be 1/3? So it would also be 3. So what that means is the volume formula from yesterday, we're just going to tack on a 1/3 in the front. So this will be 1/3 B times H. It's 1/3 of the prism. And the volume of a cone would be the same, 1/3 BH, except that we know that the base is always a circle, and the area of a circle is pi r squared. So 1/3 pi r squared H. So again, notice for the pyramid, you actually want the height this time, whereas in the past, for surface area, we wanted the slant height. So that's why sometimes you'll be given one or the other. So they ask us to find, and remember, big B is still the area of the base, and H is still the height of the cone or the pyramid. find the volume of a square pyramid with base edges 15 centimeters and a height of 22. So the formula for a square pyramid will be 1/3 big B times big H. So I'm not going to attempt to draw this because you know how bad my drawings are, but the base I will draw, which is a square. And it has side lengths of 15. So what would big B be? It's the area of the base. Right? What?
60.
No. We'll find the perimeter. 225. 15 times 15. Or 15 squared. Capital H, they actually gave us. The height of the pyramid is 22. Now it's up to you how you want to type this in your calculator. We could put these all over 1 and multiply the tops and then divide that by 3. Or you also can put in your calculator 1/3. Remember that in a calculator to put 1/3 and you would just put parenthesis 1 divided by 3 parentheses, that's 1/3. So you could do that times 225 and times 22. We'll get 1650. Again, if you prefer, you could do 225 times 22, hit enter, and then do divided by 3. You'll start at 1650. And that again will be cubic units. Number 2, find the volume of the oblique cone. So for volume of a cone, we use 1/3 pi r squared h. And in this instance, if they have a dotted line going the whole distance, that's telling you that the diameter is 6. If they want you to just see the radius, they won't put a line going the whole way. Okay, so that means our radius would be half of that, 3. And you can see that the height is drawn in. Now in an oblique cone, the height does not touch the center, but it doesn't matter as long as you see a perpendicular segment. So we'll have 1/3 times pi times 3 squared times 11. And we'll leave this in terms of pi. So 3 squared is 9. 1/3 of 9, or 9 divided by 3, is 3. 3 times pi times 11 will be 33 pi. And if you want to use your calculator to help you, you can, just don't press the pi key. Our notes are short today anyways. We have 6 examples. This one asks us to find the volume of a square pyramid with a base edge of 16 and a slant height of 17. So our formula is 1/3 big B times big H. So what are we missing from the given? What don't we know based on what they told us? The height. How do we find it? What can we use to find the Pythagorean theorem? You also could use triples, if you remember them. Remember to cut the base in half to find out what this triangle, because this would go through the center. So this is an 8 something 17. Does anyone remember the other number? 8 length. Yes, 15. If you remember your triples. It's an 8, 15, 17. No work required. You're not. Do you want me to give you all the triples again? Okay, so your triples are 3, 4, 5, which you can come up with a lot more than that. 6, 8, 10, 9, 12, 15, etc. You have your 8, 15, 17. You have your 5, 12, 13. And you have your 7, 24, 25. And then remember, you can come up with more of them just by doubling all the numbers. But if you see those, again, that can shortcut your work a little. Otherwise, 8 squared plus h squared equals 17 squared. Yada yada. And so we still need to find out what big B is. So big B is the area of the base, which is a square, which would be 16 times 16, which should get us 256. So volume is not easier than surface area because we don't have to find P. We only have to find big B. So it's a little bit shorter in terms of the side work you have to do. But you don't want to forget the 1/3. You're going to have a formula sheet on your test, but you just need to make sure you actually look at the correct one, because there's going to be a lot of formulas on it. We found our height was 15. What do we get when we multiply all of that together? Marquise?
1,780.
Good. And that would be meters cubed. Next one doesn't give us a picture, they just give us a description. Find the volume of a square pyramid with base edge of 24 and a slant height of 13. So again, personally, my square pyramids are going to look awful. You'd be better off just looking at the picture from the last example and imagining different numbers. I usually draw the base of it, which is a square. And the square has edges of 24 by 24. And then I just imagine the pyramid coming out of the paper, because I can't draw three-dimensional pyramids. So, again, this is the same setup as last time. We don't know what H is. We know what slant height is, which would be L. So again, if you remember, you can create a right triangle that would go from the center to a side, and then we could label the slant height, which is 13. So cutting the base in half, the 24 in half, we get 12. The slant height, which is our slanted height, would be 13, our hypotenuse. We can use Pythagorean theorem or triples to find out what the actual height is. So if you look at the triples, I just jotted down, it would be 5. Otherwise, h squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared. Square them, subtract them, square root them. And then you still need to know what big B is. So big B would be 24 times 24, which gets us 576. And we just plug it. Again, if you want to put those all over 1, just to remind yourself what you're doing, you do not multiply them by 3, you divide them by 3. And we should get 960 meters cubed. Why don't you guys try 5 and 6? And then we'll go over those at the board. We'll pair share and go over them at the board. You may.